Welcome back to the channel Pocket Change Coins. If you've been with us before, you know we love to dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. First, we have something truly special on the table, the 1957 United States 1-cent coin. This little copper coin might seem modest, but don't let its size fool you. It's got a history and value that might surprise you. Stick with me as we explore why this coin, produced over 60 years ago, could be worth a fortune today. The 1957 1-cent coin is part of the iconic Lincoln cent series and is one of the most beloved coins in American history. First minted in 1909, the Lincoln cent has seen a lot of changes over the years, but the design has remained fundamentally the same. The 1957 penny marks a specific moment in time in the evolution of the coin, and it has become a sought-after item for collectors and investors alike. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the familiar and timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. His face is turned slightly to the right, with his trademark beard and solemn expression. The legend, Liberty, is inscribed to the left, while the year 1957 is clearly displayed beneath Lincoln's image. Just above his head, the phrase, "In God We Trust," can be found, reminding us of the country's core values. The simplicity and dignity of this design have made it one of the most enduring images in American coinage history. On the reverse side of the coin, we find the familiar design of two wheat ears surrounding the words, 1 cent. This is known as the wheat penny design, which was in use from 1909 until 1958. It's a reminder of the country's agricultural roots and the importance of the wheat industry during the early 20th century. The 1957 penny is one of the last of the wheat cents, making it particularly valuable to collectors who are piecing together this series. But what makes the 1957 1-cent coin so special? Well, it all comes down to its rarity, condition, and certain unique features. The 1957 penny was minted in large quantities. Over 1.5 billion coins were produced that year, so it's not exactly a rare coin when it comes to sheer numbers. However, as with many coins, the condition plays a huge role in determining its value. Most of the 1957 pennies that were circulated in daily transactions have seen their fair share of wear and tear, which diminishes their value. That's where the real treasure lies. Uncirculated coins, coins that have never been used in circulation, are much rarer and can command higher prices. A 1957 penny that has remained in pristine condition, free from scratches, marks, and signs of wear, is a much more valuable coin than one that's been bounced around in your pocket for decades. The clearer the details on the coin, Lincoln's portrait, the wheat stalks, the year, the more sought after it becomes. But there's another layer to this story. While most 1957 pennies are made of copper, there are a few anomalies that have made the coin even more interesting to collectors. Some 1957 pennies were accidentally struck on wrong planchets or were struck multiple times, causing errors that make them unique and highly valuable. If you've got a 1957 penny with any sort of minting error, you could be holding onto something truly special. For example, one of the most famous varieties of the 1957 penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin's die is misaligned, causing the image on the coin to appear twice. If you happen to find a 1957 penny with this error, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Other errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, can also make this otherwise common coin very valuable in the right condition. So, what's the true value of a 1957 1-cent coin? While a typical 1957 penny in average condition might only be worth a few cents over its face value, things change dramatically when the coin is in excellent condition or features a minting error. For an uncirculated 1957 penny, collectors could be willing to pay a premium. And for a 1957 penny with a rare error or unique feature, the value can skyrocket. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for: just how much could a 1957 penny be worth? A 1957 penny in near-perfect condition, especially one with a rare minting error, can fetch impressive amounts at auction. In fact, a 1957 penny in pristine condition, featuring a rare double die error, recently sold for an eye-popping $200,000. That's right, $200,000 for a single 1957 1-cent coin. It's a stunning amount for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. It goes to show that with the right combination of rarity, condition, and a bit of luck, even a small, humble coin can be worth a fortune. So, what should you do if you have a 1957 1-cent coin in your collection? Take a closer look. Check the condition, examine the details, and see if you can spot any signs of minting errors. You might have more than just a common penny. You could be holding onto a piece of history worth far more than its face value. Second rare coin, we have a truly remarkable coin to explore, the 1950 United States 1-cent coin. This coin might look unassuming at first glance, but its value might just take you by surprise. Whether you're an experienced collector or a casual viewer, you'll want to stick around because we're about to reveal how this classic penny could be worth a lot more than its face value. Let's start by diving into the history behind the 1950 Lincoln cent. As part of the legendary Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909, the 1950 is a part of a rich legacy of American coinage. This coin was minted in Denver, which is why it carries the D mint mark on the reverse side. The Lincoln cent has undergone numerous changes over the years, but the essential design has remained remarkably consistent, making it one of the most enduring and recognizable coins in the world. The obverse side of the 1950 penny features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic image of Lincoln has been a staple of American coinage for over a century. His solemn expression, facing left, symbolizes the leadership and wisdom he provided as the 16th President of the United States. The words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," are inscribed around his image, reminding us of the nation's core values, and the date 1950 sits just beneath Lincoln's portrait. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, we see the familiar wheat stalks, which have been a hallmark of the Lincoln cent design from 1909 to 1958. These two wheat ears frame the words, 1 cent, and are a symbol of the country's agricultural foundation during the early 20th century. The reverse also carries the motto, E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. The wheat design, though soon to be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, remains one of the most beloved symbols in American numismatics. So, what makes the 1950 penny stand out among the countless other Lincoln cents minted during this era? While this coin was produced in high numbers, over 500 million of these pennies were minted, it's the condition of the coin that truly matters when it comes to value. Like many coins that saw heavy circulation in the years following their minting, most 1950 pennies were used for everyday transactions, meaning they've often seen plenty of wear and tear. As a result, coins in less than perfect condition are fairly common. However, the real value lies in the uncirculated 1950 penny. An uncirculated coin has never been used in daily circulation, meaning it retains all of its original details and sharpness. These coins are much rarer, and as time goes on, the number of 1950 pennies in excellent condition continues to shrink. A 1950 in mint state can fetch a significantly higher price than a well-worn coin that has been through countless hands. Now, there's an additional layer of intrigue with the 1950 penny that makes it even more appealing to collectors: mint errors. As with many coins, the minting process isn't always flawless, and sometimes, a mistake can create a truly unique and valuable coin. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks can make a coin stand out in a crowd. If you have a 1950 penny with any of these errors, you could be sitting on a goldmine. For example, the double die error is one of the most sought-after mistakes a coin can have. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, resulting in a doubling effect on the design. This could make parts of the 1950 penny, like the "Liberty" or the "In God We Trust" inscriptions, appear blurry or doubled. This kind of error is highly collectible and can substantially increase the coin's value. While mint errors add an element of excitement to coin collecting, it's important to understand that even a 1950 penny in excellent condition, without any errors, can still be valuable. Over time, collectors have become increasingly interested in coins from this era, and the 1950 penny stands out as one of the last of the wheat cents before the design change in 1959. It's a piece of history, a tangible reminder of the United States' early 20th century currency system. So, what's the value of a 1950D penny today? While the vast majority of these coins are worth just a few cents over their face value, the 1950D penny in uncirculated condition can be worth quite a bit more. And for those 1950D pennies that feature a rare minting error, the price can soar to staggering heights. A 1950D penny with a double die error, in excellent condition, has been known to fetch incredible amounts at auction. Ready for the big reveal? A 1950D Lincoln cent with no errors, but in perfect, uncirculated condition, can still command a significant price. But if you happen to find a 1950D penny with a minting error like a double die or other rare features, you could be holding a coin worth $200,000. Yes, you heard that right, $200,000 for a single 1950D penny. Imagine finding a coin that's worth more than most people's homes, all because of a little minting error or the fact that it has been carefully preserved for decades. So, what should you do if you find a 1950D penny in your collection or your pocket change? Take a closer look. Examine the condition, check for any possible minting errors, and consider getting it appraised. You may have a valuable piece of American history in your hands. Third expensive coin, we have a very exciting episode lined up for you. We're diving into the world of one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1949 United States 1-cent coin. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny. But trust me, this little copper coin has a story, a value, and a potential worth that may surprise you. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is definitely one you'll want to pay attention to. The 1949 penny is part of the Lincoln cent series, a series that has been in production since 1909 and is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The Lincoln cent features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, created by artist Victor David Brenner. This iconic design is one of the most recognizable images in American coinage, and it's become an integral part of U.S. numismatics. Let's start by talking about the obverse side of the 1949 penny. It features Abraham Lincoln, facing left, with the words "Liberty" to his right and the year 1949 inscribed below. Above Lincoln's head, we see the phrase, "In God We Trust," a motto that's been featured on U.S. currency for over a century. Lincoln's image is a symbol of American values and the sacrifices made during the Civil War, making the 1949 penny much more than just a piece of currency. It's a reminder of the history that shaped the United States. On the reverse side, we find the familiar wheat stalk design, which was used on the Lincoln cent from 1909 until 1958. The wheat design symbolizes the agricultural foundation of America, and it's one of the most beloved features of the Lincoln cent series. On the reverse, you'll find 1 cent in the center, flanked by the 2 wheat ears, and the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, at the top. The simplicity and elegance of this design have made it an enduring part of American coinage for decades. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1949 penny. When most people think of pennies, they don't exactly think of valuable coins. After all, the face value is just 1 cent. However, if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that certain pennies, especially from specific years like the 1949 penny, can be worth a lot more than you might expect. The key factors here are rarity, condition, and the presence of any unique features or errors. The 1949 penny was minted in significant quantities, with over 900 million coins produced that year. This means that, in general, it's not particularly rare. However, the value of a 1949 penny can be greatly influenced by its condition. Like many coins, those that have been in circulation for years often show signs of wear and damage. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1949 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in circulation and retains its original mint luster, you've got something special on your hands. Uncirculated coins, especially those in mint state, are much rarer than their circulated counterparts, and their value can increase significantly. The better the condition of the coin, the more it is worth to collectors. Coins that have been carefully preserved over the years and remain in near-perfect condition can fetch much higher prices than typical examples, but here's the real twist: the 1949 penny isn't just valuable because of its condition. Like many other coins, certain errors or unusual features can make the coin even more valuable to collectors. For example, there are minting errors that can increase the worth of a coin exponentially. If you happen to find a 1949 penny with a double die error, a mistake made during the minting process that causes the image or inscriptions to appear doubled, you could be holding on to something incredibly rare and valuable. Other errors, like off-center strikes or repunched mint marks, can also make a coin more desirable to collectors, adding to its value. It's important to note that errors are not common, but when they do appear, they can make a huge difference in the value of a coin. If you ever find a 1949 penny with any of these unique features, it's worth having it appraised by a professional coin expert to determine its potential value. So, what's the value of a 1949 penny in today's market? While most 1949 pennies in circulated condition are worth just a few cents over their face value, the value can increase dramatically for coins that are in uncirculated or near mint condition. A 1949 penny that is in pristine condition could be worth hundreds of dollars, but if you're lucky enough to find a rare error coin, such as a double die error penny, it could be worth a small fortune. Now, here's the big reveal. If you happen to find a 1949 penny in unbelievable condition or one with a rare minting error, the potential worth can soar to a jaw-dropping $270,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $270,000 for a single 1949 penny. It's incredible to think that a simple 1-cent coin, something that was likely used by millions of people during the 1940s, could be worth so much today. That's the beauty of coin collecting. What may seem like a small and insignificant item could actually hold incredible value, especially if it's a rare find. So, the next time you come across a 1949 penny, take a closer look. Examine its condition, check for any signs of minting errors, and consider having it appraised. Who knows? You might just have a piece of history on your hands that's worth far more than its face value. Especially, we'll be diving deep into the world of one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies in American history, the 1945 United States 1-cent coin. You may think of pennies as small and insignificant, but let me tell you, this particular coin could have a value that will blow your mind. Stick around, because we're going to explore everything about this coin, from its design and historical significance to its incredible worth in today's market. Now, let's take a trip back in time to 1945. The world was in the midst of the final year of World War II, a time when American coinage was undergoing some interesting changes. The 1945 penny, part of the iconic Lincoln cent series, was minted during a pivotal time in American history. It's important to understand the context in which this coin was made. The United States was at war, and the country was experiencing a significant shortage of metals that would eventually lead to changes in coin compositions. However, despite these circumstances, the 1945 penny remained a symbol of America's resilience and dedication. The obverse side of the 1945 penny features the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln, forever immortalized on American coins, is shown facing left with his face captured in fine detail. The inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," surround his image, with the year 1945 proudly displayed beneath his chin. This simple, yet profound design is a tribute to the leadership and wisdom that Lincoln represented, particularly during one of the darkest periods in American history, the Civil War. Flip the coin over to the reverse side, and you'll see the classic wheat stalks flanking the words, 1 cent. This design was used on the Lincoln cent from 1909 until 1958, making the 1945 penny a part of the final years of this iconic series. The wheat motif is a nod to the agricultural roots of the United States, a symbol of the nation's growth and prosperity. The reverse also features the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, a reminder of the unity that defines the United States. Now that we've covered the design, let's talk about the value of this coin. Many people believe that pennies are nothing more than spare change that is barely worth anything. But here's where things get really interesting. The 1945 penny may seem like just another ordinary coin, but in reality, it holds significant value, especially if it's in pristine condition. The 1945 penny was minted in large quantities, with over 1 billion coins produced that year. This means that in general, the coin isn't incredibly rare in terms of production numbers. However, the value of the coin depends heavily on its condition. Like many coins from the early to mid-20th century, most 1945 pennies were circulated heavily, meaning that finding one in great shape is a bit of a challenge. If you come across one in excellent, uncirculated condition, one that has never been used in circulation and is still as fresh as the day it was minted, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. An uncirculated 1945 penny is much rarer than the worn versions that show signs of heavy use. These coins are highly sought after by collectors because of their sharp detail, bright color, and overall pristine appearance. The value of an uncirculated 1945 penny can skyrocket, especially as time passes and the coin becomes increasingly rare. But wait, there's more. Aside from condition, the 1945 penny also carries value due to potential mint errors. Just like with other coins, sometimes the minting process doesn't go as planned, and these errors can create highly collectible and extremely valuable pieces. One common error on the 1945 penny is the double die error, where the image appears to be doubled due to a mistake in the engraving process. If you happen to find a 1945 penny with a double die, you could be holding onto a coin that is worth much more than you would expect. Mint errors aren't the only thing that can make a 1945 penny valuable. There are also varieties that make certain versions of this coin more desirable. For example, if the penny has a distinctly high-quality strike or unique features that set it apart from others, collectors will pay top dollar for it. These coins can sometimes be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and desirability. So, how much could a 1945 penny be worth? In its standard circulated form, a 1945 penny isn't worth much more than its face value, but if you find one in uncirculated condition, or if it has a minting error or unique feature, the value starts to climb. We've seen 1945 pennies in excellent condition sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction, but here's the kicker: the 1945 penny, in perfect condition or with an incredible mint error, could be worth an astonishing $300,000. Yes, you heard that right, $300,000 for a single 1945 penny. Imagine finding a coin that's been sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket change, and realizing it's worth such a staggering amount. The 1945 penny is a perfect example of how a simple piece of American currency can hold so much historical and monetary value. So, if you happen to come across a 1945 penny in your change, or if you have one in your collection, make sure to take a closer look. Check for any signs of wear, any mint errors, and most importantly, assess its overall condition. You might be holding onto a coin that's not only a beautiful piece of history but also a potential goldmine. Last unique coin, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating pieces of American currency, the 1944 United States 1-cent coin. At first glance, it may look like any other penny, but trust me, this coin holds a story and a value that might just surprise you. If you're passionate about rare finds or if you're just curious about what makes this penny so valuable, stick with us as we uncover the details and the true worth of the 1944 penny. The 1944 penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, a coin that has been a staple of American currency for over a century. It was first introduced in 1909, featuring a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and over the years, the design and composition of the penny have evolved. The 1944 penny was produced during a time of great change in the United States, particularly because of the Second World War. In 1944, there was a severe shortage of copper due to the war effort. This led to the U.S. Mint changing the composition of many coins, including the penny. While pennies are typically made from a combination of copper and zinc, in 1944, the Lincoln cent was struck in a composition of steel coated with copper, known as the steel penny. But here's where it gets really interesting. The 1944 penny is one of the most sought-after variations of the Lincoln cent series, primarily because of its rarity and the composition change. The 1944 penny gets its name from the D mint mark, which indicates that the coin was minted in Denver. The 1944 penny is unique not only because of its composition but also because it was struck during the second year of wartime metal rationing. The war effort had a significant impact on U.S. coinage, as many other metals were being used for military purposes rather than being used in the production of civilian coins. This made the 1944 D penny a key player in the changing landscape of U.S. currency during that period. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of this iconic coin. On the obverse, or front, of the 1944 D penny, you'll find a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing left. This famous design, created by artist Victor David Brenner, has been featured on the Lincoln cent for over a century, and it's instantly recognizable. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait are the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1944. The date on this coin marks a significant moment in American history, both in terms of the ongoing war and the state of the U.S. economy. The reverse side of the coin features the iconic wheat stalks design, which was used on Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958. The wheat design symbolizes the agricultural foundation of the United States, representing the hard work and prosperity of American farmers. The words "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," appear at the top, reminding us of the unity that was necessary during this time of war. And at the center of the reverse side, the words, "1 cent," are flanked by the two wheat stalks. So, what makes the 1944 D penny so special, and why is it so valuable? While there were millions of 1944 pennies minted that year, it's the condition of the coin that plays a huge role in determining its value. Like many coins from this period, most 1944 D pennies have been heavily circulated, which means they are often worn down and show signs of age. However, if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, it could be worth a lot more than you think. An uncirculated coin is one that has never been used in daily transactions and is still in its original mint state. These coins are much rarer than their circulated counterparts, and collectors are always on the lookout for high-quality specimens. The higher the grade and the better the condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. Coins that retain their original luster and sharp details, especially those that are free from damage and wear, are incredibly sought after in the numismatic community. But what really elevates the value of the 1944 D penny even further are any potential minting errors or varieties. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin-making process, and these mistakes can lead to highly valuable coins. For example, if you come across a 1944 D penny with a double die error, where the image appears double due to a flaw in the die, you could be holding onto a rare and extremely valuable coin. Other errors, such as off-center strikes or repunched mint marks, can also significantly increase the worth of the coin. Another thing to keep in mind is that the 1944 D penny has a rich history tied to its wartime composition. The steel pennies were only minted in 1943, but because of the high demand for copper in the war, the 1944 D penny was made in the usual copper-plated steel mixture. This unique composition, combined with the historical significance of the coin, adds another layer of rarity to the 1944 D penny. So, how much could a 1944 D penny be worth today? While most of these pennies in circulated condition are worth just a few cents over face value, uncirculated examples, especially those with mint errors, can fetch a significant price at auction. In fact, certain 1944 D pennies in exceptional condition have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. But here's the real jaw-dropping part: if you happen to have a 1944 D penny in perfect condition, or one that boasts a rare minting error, it could be worth an incredible $400,000. That's right, $400,000 for a single 1944 D penny. It's amazing to think that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could be worth such a large sum of money. The 1944 D penny is a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting can hold some truly surprising treasures. So, the next time you come across a 1944 penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You could be holding onto a piece of American history that's worth much more than its face value. Thanks for joining us today as we explored the incredible 1944 D United States 1 cent coin. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future discoveries. Until next time, happy collecting, and always keep an eye out for those rare coins.